welcome to A Cat in the Garden. It looks like I just woke up Nutmeg from a nap. I probably did. He's so sleepy all the time. So I'm gonna put him down and let him get some beauty sleep. But today I wanted to talk to y'all about my favorite plants for the month of September. I can't believe this month is coming to a close already. It's kind of crazy. Feels like summer has really just flown by, but I'm excited about fall. It's a great season here in Texas. And with that, let's get to my 5 favorite plants. The first one is a little bit of a wonky one, so I'm gonna have to hold on to it tight. I don't have the pole in it as I should, but this is it. This is my Scindapsus Jade Satin, and this is a plant that I really don't show off enough. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I completely recommend growing any Scindapsus that you have on a pole. They just look so much better. The leaves size up really quickly. These leaves are about as big as my hand now. And I do have 2 or 3 plants in here. Yeah, there's like a second one right here. This is a new leaf. This is a new leaf, and then I have one that's not climbing yet off to the side. It does kind of face a certain way toward the window, so that's kind of why all of the leaves are over here. I really need to fix this part, but it's a really cute plant. I really enjoy having it in my collection. It is subtly beautiful. It's not flashy, it's not variegated, nothing crazy. It's just a really nice plant to look at. This came from my friend Jacqueline over at Jacqueline's Jungle, and it has done so well since I got it from her. I'm so excited to have just had it in my collection for quite a few months now, almost a year maybe? I can't remember when she gave it to me, but I almost feel like it was last year. So it's made quite a lot of progress. It is not the fastest growing plant in the world. It's really not. It is quite slow, but if you just don't pay attention to it for a little while and you come back, you'll see a new leaf, and that'll be really exciting. So that's my Scindapsus Jade Satin. The next plant on my list of 5 favorite plants this month is a bit smaller, and that is going to be my Hoya Laconosa Louisa Silver. Now this part here, you might have seen in past videos. It has stopped growing from this growth point. So theoretically, I could chop it up if I wanted to. I don't know, I just love this plant so much. It has started growing from here, and I know it's kind of seen better days. There's some cosmetic damage on the leaves here. I don't really know what it's from. Maybe some sunburn because it's right under some really bright grow lights. They're really close to it, but I don't know, I just love it. I love a full silver Hoya. I think they are some of the most beautiful plants that are out there that you could just find anywhere. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I love the long, big leaves that it has compared to other Laconosa anyway. I know they're not like the biggest leaves, but for Laconosa, I would say these are pretty big. It is really easygoing. I did have to reroot it a few months back due to root mealies, so it's kind of in recovery mode still, but it's got some nice roots that are now just starting to reach the bottom of the pot. And it's just such a nice plant. I can't say it enough what a nice plant this is, but I love it. I love it so much. That's all I can say. I love having it around. There is another like tiny growth point in here that grew a leaf. I don't think it's doing much from there. Oh, it's just hanging out, I guess, but that's kind of a little update on it as well as showing it off a bit. But it's just really easy-going. I'm really hoping I can get it to bloom at some point like I have some of my other Laconosa, because once they start blooming, they never stop. So that's the next goal for this plant, and I'm thinking because it's pretty decent size now, maybe that'll happen in the near future. Maybe it'll take me cutting it or putting it on a trellis or something, but that's sort of the next goal that I have for this plant. But anyway, that is my Hoya Laconosa Louisa Silver. The third plant for my 5 favorite plants for the month of September is one that you have not seen in a while, but it is my favorite houseplant of all time. And that is going to be my variegated Philodendron Micans Velvet Halo. The last time you would have seen this plant, it would have been in a much smaller pot with kind of a little jute wrapped pole. Nothing like this setup, and I know it doesn't look the best right now with the setup that it has going on, but I think it's doing a lot better than it was before. And it did make me sad for a little while when it wasn't doing as well, but this is the newest leaf. Let's see it right there. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It is sizing up again, which I'm really happy about. And I did combine the two. So I have a second one down here that actually has even better variegation, and it should be ready to attach to this pole soon. So I am excited about that. I'm hoping that we can get some leaves to size up as it reaches the top of the pole, and then maybe I'll cut it and we can get even bigger leaves starting at the base so it'll look a little bit more like the Jade Satin. For me, Micans has been a more difficult plant to own than some of the other heartleaf Philodendron. I don't know why. I have a regular Micans and it just does terrible, but I have it trailing. So I'm hoping that with this one, I can have it climbing and it will do even better than some of the other climbing ones that I have. My goal one day is for it to look like my absolutely beautiful Philodendron Rio that I show off all the time because I'm obsessed with it. But I don't know, I'm really happy with how this one is doing right now. So I did want to show it off. And I am also happy that if it doesn't work out, I can just get a new one because they're cheap now. I don't think it'll ever come to that point, and I spent so much money on this plant back when it was rare that I'm very invested in keeping it alive and keeping it happy. So I'm really willing to do whatever it takes, even though it's not really worth much of anything at all anymore. I personally just want to keep it happy, and because it's happy right now, that's kind of why it's on my 5 favorites for the month. I'm hoping also soon it will start rooting into the pole. There is a little root right here starting to form on the outer part. That little yellow root right there. So that's starting to form. Once it roots into the moss pole here, I think it will be a lot happier. So if that happens soon, we're really gonna see some larger leaves coming out of here. But that's enough about this one. Again, this is my Philodendron Micans variegated. This is the Velvet Halo. The next plant is, of course, another Hoya, and it's one that you might not have seen before. So this is the Hoya Nepenthe. This is a cross between Hoya Nicholsoniae and Hoya Christine. This is one of the first uncommon or rare Hoyas that I ever got, and it's not a particularly expensive Hoya, but it's really just not common. I got it from a seller in Florida who got it from a Hoya breeder there, their mother plant anyway, and she is the only person that I know that sells it kind of in a mass market type of way, whereas the breeder in Florida mostly sells to other Florida collectors or other Florida sellers. So I feel very privileged to have this plant in my collection because it's really not in circulation that much. But it was one of the first Hoyas that I really fell in love with, and it's not normally a type of Hoya that I would go for. It's not veiny, it's not particularly splashy, it's very subtle, but I absolutely love it. I love this teardrop shape of these leaves, even though they're more rounded. I love the subtle veining that you can really catch with the light, and I don't mind that it grows really slow. I know that it's a happy plant. I know that it's pretty easy to care for. It can tolerate a little bit of underwatering, which I need because I am a chronic underwaterer. So for all of those reasons, I really love it. And I love it so much that last year I actually bought a second one. So there's 2 plants in here. This tall one on this little jute pole that I made is the original Nepenthe that I bought about 3 years ago now. Last year, I bought this one as a little 2-leaf cutting right here, and it has grown a couple leaves for me. It tried growing a runner, but I didn't attach it in time, and the runner kind of died off, which is fine. I really don't mind it at all because I've got the 2 plants here, and they're really happy, and that's all that matters to me. I don't know, what do you think? Do you like it as much as I do? I'm really just in love with this plant, and I don't show it off enough. I think it is a really great, really understated, but in the best way. So in case you missed it again, this is my Hoya Nepenthe. The last plant for my 5 favorite plants of the month of September is one that might surprise you because it is incredibly common, and I really don't have a ton of common plants here. A lot of the ones that I have aren't doing the best, or when I moved, I got rid of a lot of them because it's just easier to replace them, especially when I'm moving around a lot every few years because my husband is in the military. But there are some that I just love to death, like the Philodendron Brazil behind me, and I couldn't ever imagine giving them up. So this plant is just like that. And this is my Marble Queen Pothos, or Epipremnum aureum. This is not a Snow Queen. Snow Queen isn't really a thing. It's just a highly variegated Marble Queen Pothos. And as you can see, there are patches of green in here. There is a full green Jade Pothos in the back, but if you look at it like this plant is absolutely gorgeous, and it is sitting in this absolutely tiny pot. But I've heard they don't do so well with repotting, so I'm just letting it live out its best life until I see a ton of roots coming out of here. Right now there's only one, so I wouldn't really consider this as a root-bound plant. It's super happy. It does dry out pretty quickly. I end up having to water it about every 5 or 6 days, but I don't mind because I see it every time I'm walking through the plant room. As soon as the leaves get a little droopy, I go ahead and water it. This was watered yesterday or the day before, so it's really happy right now. And it is one of the few plants that I love to have trailing. The leaves, like the Philodendron Brazil behind me, they don't lose their size very quickly. And in fact, these have really kind of kept the same size the entire time that I've owned it. So it just looks really bushy, really full, and really just beautiful. This is a statement plant in my collection, and I love that because it's so cheap, it is so affordable, and it's so accessible to a lot of people. So much so that I might just get more of these because they do so well. I really am having issues with a lot of the trailing plants in my bathroom, and I might just get a couple of Marble Queen to put in there instead because they're just so easygoing. I really can't say enough about this plant. It goes through some phases where, you know, there's more green to variegated, or there's a bit of sectoral variation going on here. But if you look at the overall picture, it's just a really well-balanced plant. Now, some of them kind of show up more green like this, and some are more white. It kind of has to do somewhat with the amount of light you're giving the plant. If you're giving your Marble Queen Pothos high light like I am, this is facing a floor-to-ceiling east-facing window in my plant room, so it gets about 6 hours of direct sun every single morning. Because of that, the leaves are going to be a more greenish color when they harden off. Sometimes, I don't think it's happening anymore so much. This is the newest leaf here, and it's a little bit more of like a creamy white color here. And I used to get more of that when I lived in a lower light apartment. That's how you're gonna get the nice white contrast with these, is if you have them in lower light. I don't really care. I think it's a beautiful plant either way, and I love the variegation, whether you keep it in low light or higher light. So I don't mind. I know some people kind of go for the more bright, creamy white. So if you're looking for that, just keep it out of the direct light. This thing is not going to be able to withstand like full Texas sun, but where it is about 5 feet away from the window, it's going to be able to tolerate some direct sunlight. But again, all that aside, it is just a beautiful plant. And I do have it facing one way, so if you look at the other side, it doesn't look as impressive. But that's also what's just so nice about it, is you can really have it all facing one way and create a really nice picture for you. I will say this is very hard for me to photograph at this point because it is so big, which is also probably why I don't really show it off much on my Instagram or anything. But I figured it deserved its little place in the spotlight here as one of my favorite plants for the month. This plant has been around since 2020 for me. I think early 2020, when I first got into houseplants in 2019, I was just getting common plants at whatever store I could find. And I think in early 2020, because it was still winter, I got this one. So we're going on 3.5, 4 years now. This is the only repot I've ever given it, and we'll see how long I can keep it in this pot before I have to repot it. But anyway, this is my Marble Queen Pothos. I don't know if you caught Nutmeg napping in the corner over here, but I had to wake him up again to say goodbye to y'all. He's very tired today. Normally he's a little bit more interested in the plants and what I'm doing, but that's okay. He's still here, he's still really cute, he's still in a good mood, and I just love having him here. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give Nutmeg and I a thumbs up down below and subscribe so you don't miss anything from us here on the channel, as well as our favorite plants every month. Thanks again, and we will catch you in the next one.